asking me all these questions? I would have better answers if I played Deathloop. And the only way for me to play Deathloop is if I get a PS5.
Strap in, ladies and gentlemen, because I am sitting down with the immensely talented Ozioma Akagha. How are you doing, Ozioma?
I'm so good, Aaron. How are you?
I'm great. I mean, there's worse ways to spend a Monday night, I suppose.
I know, it's nighttime over there, and it's like noon here. Well, it's 1, but like nighttime,
Yeah.
like what time is it over there?
No, a nice wee thing to chill out before I go to my bed at the end of the day.
You're in the future.
In the future.
I'm in the past.
So yeah, some of you listening or watching may have just had a wee bit of recognition in that voice there. It might make your spine tingle a wee bit because your voice, as of late, has meant nothing but bad things because you have been voicing Julianna in Deathloop, who is invading other players' games, trying to stop them from breaking the loop. How obviously the game has become a massive critical success. I personally gave it a 5 out of 5 actually.
Thank you.
Just to let you know, and a reviewer at JumpCut Play, he gave it a 10 out of 10. So it has been very, very well received. How's the last couple of weeks been for you with the launch?
It's been good. Everyone's been so amazing, reaching out, saying how much they love it, reaching out for interviews to talk about it, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you. I love talking to people about how much they love the games. That's not boring for me. I also love all the cosplay. Everyone, there are a couple of people on Twitter who have cosplayed Julianna, and they look amazing.
Yeah, I've spotted a few of those. I think there will be some cosplays coming out of this game because it's obviously got a very particular look as well and style.
It does.
So as a quick rundown of like who you are as an actor, I'm going to just list off some things here. So you've obviously had some experience, let's just say, right, acting on both camera and as a voice actor. You've been in shows like Delilah and Runaways, animated shows like Teen Titan Go, and were you recently in What If?
I play Suri.
That is very cool. And then to top all of that off, obviously you've been in get some wee games in there like Wolfenstein 2 and obviously Life Alyx. That's some pretty big hitters right there. So you're not exactly brand new to the whole video game world, are you?
Yeah, no.
But before you got to things like Deathloop, what was your journey into all of like voice acting? What was your early interest in all of that?
It actually started with mainly through mocap with Mirror's Edge Catalyst. I played plastic on that one, and it was just it seemed like just a regular on camera audition because you go in and you do the scene and everything. And when I booked that job, that's when I learned it was because when we audition for these things, they're all code names. We don't really know what we're getting into besides what our character is like and who they are, so that we can create the character and go into the audition. So I started with Mirror's Edge Catalyst playing plastic in mocap, and then from there other things came, Wolfenstein and Half-Life. And
what was that like? See, when you first were wearing the mocap suits, was that kind of weird for you, or what did you?
Yeah, definitely weird. It feels like you're in a it's a scuba suit with balls attached. So I got pictures from my mom, and then you have headgear too.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because the technology, these guys are so smart. The technology changes so fast. I feel like, these games usually take about 2.5 years to finish. So by the time we finished Mirror's Edge, we went from these helmets to these bigger contraptions that with the camera attached to the front.
Yeah.
So
was that like a kind of challenging thing then, to go from say just acting on say stage or on screen to then having all of this on you? What?
Yeah, it's really hard because your head wants to move freely and this camera wants to go down to the ground. It's gravity. So
What
nice neck
if?
exercise.
Oh yeah, they're like a Formula One driver, just with a
Yeah.
big sun. So like out of those though, like on television or animation or video games, like which one of those do you think has the greatest challenge as an actor?
You know what? I will say each is different.
Mm,
For mocap, there is a need to be a little bit bigger, just
mm-hmm,
depending on what the game is, of course. There's a need to be bigger so that the cameras really capture and the computers really capture the movement. Um, on camera, there's a need to be smaller because the camera is like sometimes the camera is so tight. You move your eye too far, you look like you're looking, 10 yards down the road instead of the person right next to you.
uh-huh,
So there's a restraint, I think, with on camera. There's a need to be bigger with mocap
mm,
and with just studio voiceover, like something like Teen Titans Go, I'd be sweating by the end of the session because
yeah.
you need it. I feel like, in my opinion, voiceover, you use your entire body to bring something 2D to life.
Mm-hmm,
And so it takes a lot. It takes a lot of energy to really create
mm-hmm.
an animated character.
What is then like from all of that, like follow the kind of energy that you have when you're doing a voice acting performance, like what's the most important thing to you? Is it like your timing or like your inflection or what do you focus on?
To make it as real as possible and as
Mm,
honest as possible, I think.
mm,
To make it so honest and so true and so specific that people like you get lost. That's why I do what I do, so that we can all go somewhere for a little bit
mm,
and have a good time.
yeah.
So I know that in order to do that, I really have to know a character inside out and love a character inside out, and from how
Mm,
they breathe to how they make a joke to how they laugh. All that
mm.
stuff is really important to me because it creates the world.
Yeah, that's something that I was actually speaking to Jason about, how in Deathloop in particular, it's very natural the way the back and forth that the two of you have is just it comes across as two real characters. So I think you've achieved what you've said there. um, so like when you became attached to Deathloop, was there any kind of inkling that it was going to be as big as it is?
No, I mean, not to say that it wasn't an amazing script. Listen, I do amazing things get written and produced and done all the time that never even see the light of day.
Hmm.
So I knew it was good when I saw the trailer and I saw the art, and I knew that because of how specific they were to the
Hmm.
styling, to the story, the characters. That's how
Hmm.
I knew it was going to be great.
Hmm.
Did I know it was going to blow up like this? No. I mean, I just know we were going to make a good thing, and that's all you can really hope for.
Well, I suppose it must be nice then to have it kind of take
Yeah,
flight
it's like,
into
oh,
life.
great, we did. People. It was able
Mhm,
to have everyone else gets to feel what we felt when we decided we were going to do this. That's what
mhm.
I feel like is the reward in that.
So do you think was there any pressure then for you to land the co-lead position, or were you kind of like, I'm pretty sure Jason said that he wasn't entirely sure that, or didn't entirely know that he was one of the co-leads when he first signed up for it?
Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, they gave me two. I think it was two page audition, and I don't even. Oh yeah, no, it was a scene. It was a scene. I feel like one was a scene and one was just lines that I had to
Mm,
read.
mhm,
Um, so yeah, I don't even think the character's name was Juliana. They really do a great job of making sure nobody knows what anything is. Until you step into the booth after the ink is dried and your agent and them have talked to ad nauseum and they've all figured out their stuff, and then you step to the booth, then they're like, this is what you're doing, which is actually what happened when I did Half-Life. I didn't know it was Half-Life until
All
I
right.
stepped into the booth and they were like, guess what, this is Half-Life. I was like,
Is
oh, well, okay.
is that Is that kind of realization a bit of a like, oh shit moment, you know, sitting there and going, oh, that's this kind of game or this kind of role in the game?
For Half-Life, I didn't. I knew it was a big deal, but I didn't know how big of a deal it was, and I
Mhm.
made it a point not to go looking
All right. Mhm.
because I don't. I was like, I don't want to get in my head about this noise.
Yeah.
I'll just like go in and do my character and stuff,
Mhm.
and then after after we were wrapped and like this is the last session, Ozy. Thank you so much. I was like, okay, great. Now we'll go on Google. But
Oh,
for Deathloop, I had no, I didn't know. I didn't
mhm.
even know the character's real name or anything like that. I didn't know. I didn't know she was a lead. I didn't know anything.
Working alongside Jason, I know that you only had, I think, was it one day together in the
Hmm.
booths. So was that really important for you that day recording to then your performance that you had when you were going back and forth in your separate recordings?
Yeah, I think it was important just so I could have him like almost like a mental snapshot of him in
Mm-hmm.
my head for the next year of recording.
Mm-hmm.
It was really helpful to see and like get the whole package of who it was that was going to be in my ear
Mm-hmm.
recording for the next couple of months for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. It was nice to kind of establish the dynamic in person a little bit because I joshed him a little bit, little jokes here and there. I'm a
Uh-huh.
funny gal, so I did a little bit of that in the booth, um, just to get the relationship going for me, and I think it helped Jason too.
Mm-hmm. And was there any of that then, you know, in the script or the delivery, was that formed in any way by yourself, like just bringing your own kind of personality to it?
A little bit. I think I have a little bit of every person that I play
Mm-hmm.
in the character that I make. Um, Only because I rarely can ever just leave myself like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely feel like Juliana would be me if, I didn't need to have healthy relationships in my life. We all want to just constantly say whatever is on our mind and do whatever we want all the time. But you do that, you won't be living here very long. Piss the wrong
Mm-hmm.
people off, or you just won't have any friends. So it's kind of nice to play somebody who those are not concerns of hers.
Yeah. So you have, obviously you've recorded for Deathloop and then Half-Life Alyx. What are the major differences between those kind of games? Were there many differences, or was it much the same in your experience?
It was a completely different director.
Mm.
Bennett works one way, and Sean Vanneman works a completely different way.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, there. I think also in the writing of Half Life, there were a lot of quieter moments too, and
Mm-hmm.
cinema like moments like that. Whereas I think Deathloop is so much more in your face.
Yeah.
Um, it's just like rock and roll, but with James Bond music. And so, yeah, I think those are the two differences. Half Life was
Mhm.
just more.
Just
It
like
was,
a quieter affair, not as, you know, because
yeah, but I
Deathloop
think
can be quite ballsy, I think.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, Deathloop can be very ballsy, and yeah, Half Life is relied heavily on. It's interesting. Relied heavily on
no,
relationships that were not so toxic. I don't think Alex has any toxic relationships, but I think Juliana might have a couple. So
maybe just a few.
yeah,
Did you play Half-Life Alyx ever
I
with
did
the
it because
game?
I don't have the gear. I gotta say the video game community is a whole world that I didn't even know how intrinsic and how rich it was until I started doing voiceovers for video games and interactive because
Hmm.
I didn't grow up playing video games. I barely grew up watching TV, to be honest. But we were big readers in our household growing up.
Hmm.
So to be introduced to that world, I don't got the tools. There's a VR headset that you use for Half-Life that I would love if anyone has one. And then, Deathloop has a PS5, and I'm like, I went to Google what that was. I was like, oh, look at that. So if someone has that laying around, I would love to play my games.
Here we are. Here's the
You
call.
all do not make it easy because it's a serious commitment. And I mean, it shows in the content is what I gotta say. The commitment to the culture of video games.
I think that's going to be one of my investments I'll need to make in the future is a VR headset, because some of my friends have spoken about Half-Life Alyx, and it's quite widely regarded as one of the best like VR titles, most advanced and all of this, and I'm just, I can't play it. I don't have the PC or the VR, and you're right. Like,
I've watched gameplay though on YouTube. It looks amazing. They did such a good job, and I watched gameplay for Deathloop too. Looks amazing. I'm running on walls and shit. I'm like, look at me go. It looks great.
Yeah, and the VR stuff as well, for being as like, the amount of money that you would need to put into it, it's also very easy to damage, because I have got the PlayStation version and many times I've punched the walls because I've got no idea where I am. And I'm just obviously get this thing on, and then you just...
My goodness.
I've hit my head off the wall a couple of times. I've punched the corner of the wall. It's great, you stick with it.
So it needs to come with like a hazard warning. Please play in an empty field in the middle of Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, that is really the ideal place to play VR, I think. Not in some tiny wee room in your flat. That's probably not the best. So yeah, as to go back to Deathloop, it's obviously, as we were mentioning, like very, very well received. And was that like, do you get nervous like on the run up to the release in terms of like, how is this going to be received? What are people going to think about saying like my performance, or is that it? Does that go through your head, or are you just whatever it has, whatever the response is the response?
I think it's the latter. Whatever the response is the response. I know what we did. So, I know what we did in the studio, and I know the people behind working on this, and I know that they worked really hard, and they put their all into every single piece of this. I know I did. I know Jason did. You know what I mean? Whether or not sometimes, well, I think a lot of times, I think whether or not people receive something sometimes has a lot to do with the timing of something coming out. And I don't have any, I don't have any control over if people are ready to, or if they have the capacity to, if society is okay with the content that's being put out, this specific content being put out at that moment. And so that they are ready and that they're excited for it is just icing on the cake. But yeah, I try not to think about, are they gonna like it? Well, I liked it, so
I think that is a
good liking it is extra. No. But it's always a better party when more people are there. So I'm glad that everybody else has joined the I like it party, because it was, for a while it was just, Arkane, me, Jason.
That's it. It doesn't need to go beyond there till it comes out,
and then it comes out and now everybody's at the party. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm happy about it.
I'm glad that's the way that you approach it. I know I would be sitting, especially because I remember when this got announced, it was like something 2 years ago. And I was really, really excited for it because Arkane have made some of my favorite games. And obviously this turned out to be another one of those. But I know I would be freaking out about something like that. I get like that sometimes, even if you're just posting like a video or an article. But that's just me. I should take your approach.
Listen, as long as you like it, Ricky Gervais said something that I thought was brilliant. He said, as long as I'm making me laugh. Okay. He's a great comedian. I'm like, you know what? I like that. As long as I like it. Yeah. And I'm not hurting anybody, or you know what I mean? Then like.
Yeah, I suppose it's too easy to get caught up in that stuff as well. Like if you.
It does, and it's not the purpose. It's really not. doing things so people like them is like you're already behind.
Mhm.
My
Yeah,
first
yeah.
thing is this character true? Is this character honest? Is this good? Is this, is this a real person? Is this somebody that people can connect to? They're always pieces of people that I've already met.
Mhm.
So as long as all that happens, then
Mhm.
the rest usually falls into place.
So, as being one of the two leads of this alongside Jason, this is something I asked Jason about as well. And with it being as well received as it is, as popular as it is, having two black leads in this role, is that something that weighs in your mind? Is that something that you feel is like really important about this game, or is it something you consider at all when you're making it?
Yeah, I think it's important. I
Mhm.
think especially because the video game community is international.
Mhm.
It's humongous. And there are black people in the world. So the fact that video games don't always represent that is
Mhm.
something that I think Deathloop really achieved in it, and it's a really really good thing
Mhm.
to um I think it brings people together. I think it helps people understand each other more.
Mhm.
Rooting for somebody who it doesn't look like you,
Mhm.
and or playing somebody who doesn't look like you.
Mhm.
I did an interview about Half-Life a while ago, and I told the woman interviewing me that I don't think um, people really understand the gravity of looking down or doing the VR of Half-Life, looking down and seeing brown hands.
Mhm.
That's not something that's very common at all. And
Yeah.
it's so important because I feel like it helps us really come together and close the gap of different.
Mhm.
So, two black leads in a video game that's doing exceptional and is exceptional
Mhm.
only helps everybody, I think,
Mhm.
really understand each other and come together.
Jason, something that he had highlighted why he thinks Deathloop is so special is because it has these two black leads, but it doesn't put race at the forefront of its themes. Is that something you feel similar about with this game?
Yeah. Listen, man, I don't wake up every day being like I'm black. I just wake up like Ozzy. And then, I mean, I do know that I'm black and I love it. It's not the topic of the day.
Yeah.
Topic of
Mhm.
the day is my life and, what I have fun doing and what I don't
Mhm.
have fun doing and the relationships I have with people that really do not center around my race. And
Yeah.
so, therefore, I think it does a good job of not making it the topic of the day because listen, black people got more to talk about than that
Mhm.
anyway.
Mhm.
So, I mean, not that that's not an important thing to talk about. It
Yeah.
is, but it's not, we think about other things too. We do other things too, and that's
Mhm.
important just to
Mhm.
make us well-rounded people.
We're coming close to the end. We've got some questions here that we're throwing in. One of the guys at JumpCut, actually, Jeff, he has asked, what was the most fun piece of dialogue to record throughout Deathloop? Do you have something that sticks in your mind?
Hmm.
It's a very hard one, I'd imagine, considering
It's hard, y'all.
how
This thing.
long the game
Listen,
is.
we worked this thing over 2 years. Um,
That is one I'd be willing to put a pin on if you want to consider
I
it for
might have
time.
to pin it because I can't think of anything. So,
That's a tough ask from Jeff, gotta say.
yeah,
That's
Jeff, come on, hit me with a soft pitch first. He just threw a 200 miles an hour.
um, so Sam is asking, besides yourself, who is your favorite of the visionaries and why, of the other 8 targets or 7 targets?
Is it Faye?
Faye, yes. Wait, Fia. Is it Fia?
Yeah.
Fia. It finally came back to me. I was sitting there going, Faye, Fia.
Here's something that people do not know. We don't know what's happening half the time. They give us dialogue and we say it. Like, it's not like there's no script.
Uh,
Um, and because of confidentiality reasons, they don't really tell us who you're talking to half the time.
yeah. So
So
that could lean into then something we mentioned briefly before recording here. You don't have a PlayStation 5. Jason just managed to get one by
you
putting a
know
call in.
what? How? How?
He put it out there, and then people start offering it. That's what you need to, you use the position as one of the leads of Deathloop. You have to just say, where is my PlayStation 5? I think.
Where is my plate? You know what? You all are asking me all these questions. I would have better answers if I played Deathloop. And the only way for me to play Deathloop is if I get a PS5.
That is true. The call is out in the wild now.
No,
So
if someone has a PS5 laying around and wants some, thoughts on Deathloop gameplay from the horse's mouth, I will need the PS5. I got to hook up on the actual game, The bosses are good about that, but
like, here's the game that you can't play on without your PlayStation 5. Emily has asked, this was on Twitter, we've just got a couple more in case you're wondering if this will go on forever.
Yeah, let's go.
So Emily said Deathloop appears to be influenced by the 1970s blaxploitation film movement. Did you watch any of the films in preparation for your role?
No, because I didn't know what I was doing. No. I didn't even know my character's name, y'all. The video game world is so NDA. It is so confidential. I didn't know anything.
So
I didn't know what I looked like until a year in. Up to the can.
This one doesn't rely on you knowing too much about the game or played the game. So we have from B. This is something we asked Jason as well. If you were in a time loop yourself, how would you act? Would you be partying? Would you be murdering like Julianna, or would you be trying to break out the time loop?
I wouldn't be partying because I am a bore. I would either be killing or breaking out of the loop.
Have a bit of fun with it. I think it would.
But you know what? I would be breaking out of. I would be trying to break out of the loop before Colt, because who likes Colt anyway? Yeah, I think I'd be. I'd be trying to break out of the loop. I can't do the same thing every day.
Oh, well, you can be breaking out the loop and killing at the same time.
There you go. The best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that sounds like fun. I would also. I feel like if I was in it, I would try and watch all of the movies or read all the books that I wanted to get it done. So it's all done in the one day, and then the next day I'm just I've read 300 books. I think that would maybe be my approach, but then they would have to be on the island as well to start.
You'd also have to read all those things in 24 hours.
It would be, it'd be a really intense session. Yeah, that's true actually. There we go. That's why I just have to break the loop.
Or be killing.
Be killing. So, final question before I let you go is there a role in a franchise, really anywhere, it could be within games, or is it television or film, that you would like to take on, if that's just a singular character, maybe a studio, or maybe a franchise? Is there anything that you have in mind that you're I would like to play that one day?
I know there is real mixed feelings about making video games into movies.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they do it with Assassin's Creed?
They did, yes.
They did, yeah. Yeah, you say it like that because y'all are very hard to please when it comes to making video games into movies. Very hard to please. But I think if they ever made Deathloop or Half-Life into a movie, I would love to play Julianna or Alyx. And then if they would like to make a superhero movie, I would like to play Storm if it's Marvel, or Vixen if it's DC Comics.
Vixen? I don't think I know that one.
Look her up.
There's my homework.
That's why you make a great movie. People were like, "Wait, who is that?" And then boom,
There
it's
we, there,
Vixen, baby.
this is me. I'm gonna get called out now. Like, how did he not know who Vixen was?
I know, no, 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 no. Don't let him do it to you. She's not that. She's not like huge, you know. She's not like Poison Ivy or something.
Oh well, but thank you so much for sitting down with me, Ozioma.
You're welcome.
It's been great to chat all things Deathloop and voice acting. Is there anything beyond Deathloop, something in the future or do you even know what you're in? I suppose if it's NDA.
Who knows? No, there are stuff coming down the line. No, I cannot talk about it, but stuff is definitely coming. Watch What If on Disney Plus. Watch Do Re and Me on Amazon Prime. I play a flamingo named Flora, and yes, I sing. Get on your ass and kill Colt. Pick up Half-Life. You know, punch a wall.
Punch the wall. Headbutt one maybe.
Punch it again. All for the love of the game. Come on.
Yeah, you know, it's all worth it. And where can people find you on Twitter?
They can find me, my name, Ozioma Akagha, on Twitter. Make sure you DM me if you have a PS5 or an Oculus situation or whatever you need to play Half-Life, because I want it.
I'm going to add to that request if you've got one for me also, you know. Don't just send it all to Ozzy, you know. Give a little bit to me as well. We can share once you're done with the Oculus, once you've played Half-Life, you can send it over to me. And then
there you go.
People
helping people.
But yeah, Ozzy, thank you for sitting down.
You're so welcome.
It's been great.